Okay, salam alaikum wa rahmatullah.
We should start with that, actually. Start with your channel. How's it?
Okay,
Hijrah, man.
bro, this is it, bro. You know what? How many views have I got since I started the channel? Because it just popped off from the beginning, well, and I was very surprised. I was actually, I was, so I decided to make a new YouTube channel probably in July. Yes, in July, because I was like, you know what? I just like making YouTube videos. So I don't always have to make YouTube videos for like business promotion purposes. I just make for the sake of Allah to help people as a hobby. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I always end up talking about Hijrah with Akhitwi. And I'm in so many conversations about Hijrah, either with people I know online or like people that, I was friends with and stuff in Turkey. And I was like, this is actually something I actually know quite a lot about. I always end up talking about it. So, yeah, and so many people, there aren't many people who've lived in like four Muslim countries and
Yeah.
for most of their life and all that. So I guess I'm one of the right people to make this kind of content. So yeah, so I thought I'll start it. But I got interrupted because I had to leave Turkey. But then I
Yes.
kicked it off. I probably posted the first one September, October sometime. Let me just look at the analytics now. So the lifetime of the channel, I've got 150,000 views. And the first video was posted actually in the end of October. So
Yep.
I can't count very quickly how many videos are posted, probably about 10.
Yep.
So the average views is like 10, 15,000 per thing. And you know, when you start a new channel, well, you have to be prepared to get literally 5 views, 10 views per video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess after making videos for like 10 years, I've learned something about it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I took some of those principles behind how to make a good video, like how to package the video, the title and thumbnail. But then I combined it with the delivery, and what I was saying was very organic, you know.
Yeah.
And so well, that was like the first time in a while, I just made video without caring too much about how to structure it, what to say when. I just, let it go. So yeah, and I've come across so many sub communities along the way, because
Yep.
my first video that was about Turkey, and because that popped off, I made the second video about Turkey. I had already recorded them, but I decided to release that other Turkey one straight away, straight after that one. So I got all these people, Turks basically. I got all these Turks or people who know about Turkey, watching those videos. Then I made about UAE. I made a few two, three videos about UAE. Again, people that know about UAE or live in UAE, whatever, they came along. Then I did the Algeria one. Then it like popped off. That video, the analytics were taking so long to like update, but finally, like a week after publishing it, I found like 35% of all the views were from Algeria.
Yep.
So, they were like really interested in it. And my wife was saying like, if you want the views, you just got to make videos about like very nationalistic countries. She's
And
like,
niche.
go
Yeah.
for India, go for like
Yeah.
Pakistan, like that would pop off.
Yeah.
But I specifically, I would have been way further ahead in terms of views if I just kept making videos about Turkey, for example. Because there was that one brother, I think his name is Mustafa. He only makes videos about Hijrah, but only Oman. Oman, 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 yeah. He had his moment, I think, a year ago where, like, he was being, he grew very quickly. But I specifically wanted to make this a Hijrah and global living channel. I don't want to make it about a specific country. So I specifically chose Yanni to keep making videos, just what I want to share, what I think is useful, rather
Yep.
than being sucked into like kind of following the algorithm.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah. It's certainly the time for it, isn't it? And I don't think I've seen much like of those keywords together: Hijrah and Algeria, Hijrah,
yeah,
Morocco,
in English at
Hijrah
least,
in,
yeah,
in yeah, in the English speaking. But I think maybe 10 years ago it was interesting and engaging and positive. And I don't know how you're finding it, but I see a lot of backlash on Twitter now with the words Hijrah and any location attached to it, from all kind of angles. I think we started noticing it when I think we did an episode a while ago when I mentioned those two
Yeah.
words with
Yes.
Tunisia and
Yes.
Hijrah, and
Yeah.
and this is what I was gonna. I found the tweet now, but
Yeah. Okay.
in mind, I'll share it. And I was going to send it
Yeah.
to you actually because I just thought
Uh,
this might knock him a bit, but then I don't really think you care.
Well, that's actually, I said I've been making videos for over 10 years. That's
Yeah,
something that you need to develop as well. Like on top of
yeah,
the skill of picking the title, the thumbnail, the structure or whatever,
yeah,
it's learning how to deal with all the comments.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So this person screenshotted my video. Oh, they just said, don't come. That's it.
yeah. It's just the comments underneath that I was going through, which were
Okay.
quite fascinating. But this is what I was talking about in terms of subset of North African. They like I follow a few of them, but like there's a bunch of them. They all have these like anime profile pictures, and they tend to be really like nationalistic. Some of them are more Islam influenced than others, and yeah, you can see where the don't comes from. It's that whole protectionist, nationalist kind of. And obviously, this person, I think they just don't know anything about you. Doesn't watch the video because usually there'd be a little red bar. Um, now there were some people underneath. They're kids. They generally tend to be quite young. Apparently their bio says Antarctica or whatever. Um, should I mean that he's moved to Algeria? Is he moving or is he just visiting? Obviously, there's some vulgarity there. Hijrah means
No, they think I'm not already about it. They think I'm just visiting. Assalamu alaikum, Mind Heist listeners. I've got a brand new YouTube channel that I've just launched and it gone off to a bang. And it's all about Hijrah, global living as a Muslim. I've lived, alhamdulillah, in 4 different Muslim countries, although I was born in the UK. So if you're interested in that at all, you're either living abroad or you're thinking of making the move, then check out the link in the description for my YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoy and benefit.
so. This one says, "Is Hijrah the new slang term for Islamic tourism?" I thought Hijrah is when Muslims move to a Muslim country. Anyway, other people obviously a bit more aware. Guy who made this is literally Algerian. He's Algerian. He's welcome. He's from Algeria. Someone else wrote the poster, actually, the original poster, replied in one of them. I don't know if I'll find it. Someone said, "Oh, he's Algerian," and they replied, "No, his father is." I was like, "Oh, so this is where we're drawing the line. Like, if your father's this and you're not that.
I'll tell you something, bro.
We're full.
On these couple of videos I made about Algeria, honestly, bro, 90-something% of the comments were extremely positive and welcome home, welcome brother. Wow, I was actually surprised, bro. I thought, it might be neutral. I thought people might be negative in terms of, not that don't come here, but just it's not good here. But actually, most people were saying, you know what, it's sick here. It's actually a really good country. It's actually really good as long as you've got money or as long as you've got this or as long as they're it's really good. I got out of possibly 100 comments, I got one saying don't come or something like that. We don't want you. It was kind of maybe a secular type of leaning person.
Yeah.
They said something like, we've already got issues with Islamic extremism, don't come.
Yeah. You get a few like that.
But that's one guy, bro. I think it's actually a very nice representation of Algeria and Algerians and how they actually are. They're very, I think that they would be very open to people coming from abroad. Sorry, I just realized I wasn't using my proper mic. Here we go. So that was amazing. That was solid. People were saying, this neighborhood, people are actually quite positive. You know, that usual negative, argumentative kind of stuff that you find online?
Yes.
It wasn't like that at all, wallah. It was very good. Yeah.
I think YouTube is still generally quite a positive place in the comment section, generally speaking. It's like one of the last bastions of these platforms that still haven't gone the full, X.com woke, anti-woke, free speech, whatever you want to call it. And it just, I think Twitter like really attracts this kind of negative, hostile environment, and unfortunately, it has seeped into a lot of Muslims as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube still has. It's got that. I'm not saying it doesn't
Yeah.
have that content, but it still has. You know, you go on any sort of travel blogger or any sort of, and this kind of falls within that realm of travel blogging. You get a lot of positivity, and people from an underrated country, such as Algeria, which I do think it is underrated, will generally have lots of people happy that they're getting English speakers, you know, shining a light on how beautiful Algeria can be. But will that change when everybody wants to make Hijrah one day? You know? Will it turn Turkey?
I think it will change. It will change. I mean, to turn Turkey is very far because you know Turkey has its history and stuff, and you could tell from the videos I made about Turkey were insane in terms of the negativity and you know, the secular types basically. Unfortunately, though, with Turkey, even the more religious people tend to have that nationalist streak in them. So it's not just the secularists that are like that in Turkey. But yeah, you get, you know, I got a lot of those kind of comments on Turkey. But alhamdulillah, bro, I do think, you know, there's something special, bro, about either making YouTube videos or people that create videos on YouTube being a bit older and more mature. You know, I think a lot of the people that got really big on YouTube just randomly mentioning like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, you know, all these types, what's his name? Remember Tube back in the day? These people, they all got big when they were like 20 or like, I don't know, 18 or like 22, right? And you mentally, you're just in one place versus me now making videos. It's also maybe because of practice, but I could just take it, bro. Like when people comment dumb stuff, I'm like, okay, this guy's obviously dumb. So let me just like, let me not expect too much from this guy, you know what I mean? And also, it takes a lot to hold back from arguing with people. You know, if I see someone very passionate writing 2-3 paragraphs about something, I'm not really going to engage them because we can't resolve this topic in a back and forth over comments. So I would usually ignore it, or I might just, like one guy, he wrote a comment and he started the comment with, "You obviously have zero knowledge about XYZ something," And I'm just like, if you're gonna be that, like, exaggerate to that level, like, I can't win with you, So I replied to him, but I didn't address anything he said. I just said, "Zero knowledge," like, let's be reasonable. Then other people, they wrote some, and also, like, you have to be good at understanding, like, proper criticism, like stuff you maybe left out the video, stuff maybe you made out to sound too easy or too hard or whatever, you know. So yeah, alhamdulillah, I think it could have hit. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It could have hit me much harder, all these different comments, but alhamdulillah, it's good. And I think this topic is always going to be pretty sensitive, right? Either, you know, you've got different camps of people that are sensitive. You've got the people of the country that you're talking about, they're sensitive. You've got people who don't really like believe in Hijrah, or they don't like people encouraging Hijrah for whatever reason. And all these are the two maybe main groups that there's quite a sensitive topic to them. So, you know, you got to kind of have your wits about you a little bit. But it's fun, bro. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. It's interesting, really, because, you know, I've noticed a lot of people now are kind of pushing back on the term Hijrah. And, you know, for someone like yourself, you've moved from, I suppose you sort of started really in a Muslim country. Well,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, what are you making Hijrah from? Whilst others maybe, you know, that from America or UK or whatever, they might have a more. But this is the thing with language. I think language takes different forms and different, you know, what Hijrah means today, I suppose, culturally speaking, doesn't necessarily make this, you know, mean the same thing it might have meant, you know, many years ago. And I think some people take offense to that. But, you know, we live in an algorithm world. What are you going to write that's going to attract the right audience of Muslims?
Exactly, bro. Like, technically, maybe I'm not doing Hijrah, you know, but I'm not going on I'm not talking technically. I'm talking about what is the key word to use to attract the type of people that might want to watch this video? You know,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
simply using that term.
Exactly.
One guy commented, I think he was Algerian, and he said, "This isn't Hijrah, you're just moving back home." And it's like, well, it's not home in a sense. I've never lived here, right? But also, maybe it was him or another guy who's saying, why do you have to use the Arabic word? Just say immigration. You're immigrating, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, yes, in Arabic, hijrah could just mean immigration. But when an English speaker says hijrah, they specifically mean the Islamic migration for the sake of Allah, to leave a place of more sins and fisq and this and that to a place of more iman and this and that. So, so yeah.
It's interesting. You just reminded me of something. I saw a post yesterday. Someone in England was showing a doner kebab, and they were, slicing it, whatever, some restaurant. And all the comment, it was a Turkish page that shared it, like criticizing it.
Okay.
And all these comments underneath were having a go. And then someone clarified underneath, because they were like, oh, doner kebab is meant to be meat stacked on each other, etc. But our doner in England is obviously this just meat juice. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's like mashed up. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
what's more akin to doner, I suppose, what this in the language term is like a shawarma, where it's actually is meat stacked upon each other.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
that's what, so people, so this Turkish page and all the comments, because I was hitting translate, were like, this is disgusting. How dare they? They've ruined doner. What is this? And until I saw a comment that clarified, it says, oh, in England, doner means this. And what it would look like for you is shawarma. And then I was like, okay, so this is language. Once again, it's language being adopted and transformed for certain contexts, right?
Yeah. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of that English doner. I think I've had it once in my life. I'm like, how can I eat? It's like, it's got the whole McDonald's nuggets type of thing.
Yeah, could be anything.
Although maybe people in the UK can't relate to that because McDonald's is not halal, but you know what I mean.
Back on the subsets, though. So we've got individuals, I think, that would. I mean, obviously, we've got the people that are happy and really excited, and they're enjoying this content. The people that are also benefiting from this content, maybe Algerians that haven't thought about going back home, and really.
Yeah.
But I suppose there is going to be those people, like there will be Algerians born and bred in Algeria with eyes set on leaving Algeria because of economic hardship. And I think your video, not just your video, but any videos like that are going to rub them the wrong way, because they're going to be like, oh, well, it's because you've got the money to live a good life in Algeria, and that's why, and oh, you're exploiting us. Or same thing that happened when I was talking about Tunisia. Have you come across anyone like that in your online engagement?
I didn't get that. The second type that you mentioned, where they're like, oh, it's all right for you or this or that. No, bro, the comments were way more like, oh, well, I guess if you're earning from abroad, like definitely, come to Algeria. It's really good. And like most people were saying that type of stuff. I got a few people, because I made like a free community as well. I just thought, maybe we can kind of help each other. So I made a free community. And some people, when they're applying to join, I can see their location. So they're in Algeria and they're thinking of hijrah as in the Arabic term hijrah. They want to leave Algeria.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't really help you on that side,
Yes.
So, and that when they like mention their reasons for wanting to join the group or whatever, they're clearly mentioning that they want to leave Algeria.
It's
or
fascinating.
even
Fascinating you mention that. Sorry, just quickly, because we were talking about the language thing, and I mentioned a few episodes ago, but there's like those Instagram pages, and I've seen them. They're like Hijrah to Europe from North Africa, and they will literally film like the Eiffel Tower or like Barcelona and put these Quran ayats on top of it, like playing over it, talking about Hijrah. Yeah, and people underneath are making dua, like, oh, you've done it, tabarakallah alayk, Allah yahfadak, all these sort of things. It's like, wow, we do live in different worlds, people use these terms in different contexts completely.
Yeah. Well, part of I was excited to make a video. I think I released it last week, which was talking about this topic of what is hijrah really, bro? Like, there's too much talk about. I don't know if you watched that video I made. Did you? It was like, let me see what the So the title was "The Hijrah Lie Muslims Keep Telling Themselves." I think I released it last week. I don't know, Friday or Tuesday. Can't remember.
I probably haven't, but
Al-Muhim. for the listeners anyway to know. So the video was basically about that we've gone a bit off track with this whole Hijrah discussion. Too much talking about the dunyawi benefits of moving to XYZ Muslim country, right? So like when people are talking about, and one of the most common countries to discuss Hijrah to is the UAE. And what do people talk about the UAE? It's the exact same talking points as the kuffar who are moving to the UAE. It's the taxes, it's the weather, it's the convenience. And it's like, so I made a video basically saying, I get that, I'm not discounting that, but that cannot be your starting point when we're talking about Hijrah for the sake of Allah, which is modeling the Prophet ﷺ who moved from Dar al-Kufr to Dar al-Iman. We have to begin with which country is the best for my akhirah, okay? And then you might have 3-4 contenders. Then we could talk about the residency permits, the weather, the taxes, the convenience, the this, the that. But it must begin at the point of Iman. What's better for my Iman, my kids' Iman, my future kids' Iman? We have to begin there. We cannot be picking based on convenience and weather. This is a joke. This is mockery of the term, honestly, man.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I suppose so. It's interesting because I haven't sat with many people that have used it. Like I haven't spoke to anyone that's gone to the UAE at length about their usage of that term. I think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like maybe Imran ibn Mansour's sort of group and crowd and associates, they went to the UAE and maybe they used the term, Hijrah. Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
Hard on that maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah,
but so I'm not saying this is the thing, and some people got me wrong. They're thinking I'm saying maybe the thumbnail was a bit, misleading in that sense. But they were thinking I'm saying if you go to UAE, it's not Hijrah, right?
Right. Okay.
And I wasn't saying that. I was saying
your the flag
approach
up there as well.
Exactly. Your approach of picking a country must begin with Iman and Akhirah and not the dunyawi benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if we look at the hadith of intentions, the Prophet ﷺ gives example. He said, if you make hijrah for a woman that you want to marry, then that's for that. It's not for Allah, right? So it's simple as that. I'm not, I always, and I'll probably make a video about this in the future. If somebody has been in the UK their whole life, they're born and raised there, that's their comfort zone. And for them to move to the UAE is out of their comfort zone and they can't picture themselves going to another Muslim country, then go for it, bro. Like if that's your stepping stone and that's going out of your comfort zone and you're going to a country that pretty much, it's majority Muslim. Yes, there are more masajid. Yes, there are a few durus here and there. Go for it, man. Like maybe that'll be a stepping stone or maybe that'll be your final place. But the point is, that you're making that move, you're doing hopefully for the sake of Allah, regardless of the dunyawi benefits you might also get from going there. Yeah. Right. Just because it's good for your dunya, it doesn't make it not hijrah, right?
Yeah.
The hijrah part is that you're doing it with the intention of it being for the sake of Allah and to increase your iman, improve your acts of ibadah. Yeah. I just think probably the conversation has become way too much about dunyawi benefits and too much talking about not being willing to sacrifice anything dunya-wise for the outcome, which is increased iman, increased protection of your aqeedah and your tawheed and your this and that.
I think
everyone is like, yeah, I would move to whatever, Egypt, but I don't speak Arabic. It's like, okay, that's what's called a sacrifice. You know what I mean? And the companions and the Prophet ﷺ himself who did hijrah, even that when they did hijrah to Habasha or to Medina, like you think they wanted to? You think that was convenient? You think it was easy to leave most of them leaving all their money behind, leaving family behind, leaving their and they were I would say a Meccan person is way more attached to Mecca than a British Muslim is attached to Britain, right? But they left, right? And I know they're the best and maybe we can't reach their level, but let's remember what the role models are in this topic that we're discussing here.
And this is some topic we sort of come back to quite a lot, but the sort of perpetual curse of diaspora, of not having a place to call home, and then venting that frustration on anyone that tries to make a home somewhere other than the West,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
sad, really, but it is a bit of a curse because you're neither here nor there. You're neither back where your family are from. You're neither integrated or engaged in the UK. You are, as we were told, like froth of the ocean. We have no home, and we have no sway in our in where we are. And that, I literally
Yeah.
see us as that because we're not engaged in any of the politics in the UK. We just sit on top. We work and we earn and we spend on our families, but like we haven't got much unless you want to engage and integrate, quote unquote, whatever that means to many people. You just kind of let the waves of this society just push you this way or that way. Oh, this policy has come out that you didn't fight against or have any input in. Oh, is it benefit me?
Yeah, it's
Does it
kind of,
not? Oh, does this one? Does it benefit me
yeah.
or not? You know what I mean? And then there's this. We spoke
Yeah.
about it again another time, not too long ago, about how invested we are in just keeping the society around us like running or good or positive, like litter picking or gritting the ice off the footway in your local community, whatever it might be. I don't know. um
Yeah.
and then it does breed this kind of like take what you can get mentality and not really give much back. And it feeds into those stereotypes that we see of right wingers saying, look at these Muslims, look at these Muslims. It's sad, but I think that's why we should be happy for those that have found a path and walk upon it. And for you, like going back to what you were just saying, I think it took you to get to Algeria to really be confident and share that message, because prior to this, maybe you were a bit concerned about infrastructure and, day-to-day lives and accessibility of stuff, comparing Turkey to Algeria, until Turkey just forced you to make those sacrifices, because what else were you going to do?
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
I think I'd like to think, and based on all these thumbnails I'm looking at, you've seen the light that is Algeria being there, alhamdulillah. So, yeah, I think you've definitely got a message to share, and I think there's a lot people can benefit. There's so many Algerians in the West, I think, like so many, and I've had this conversation with them about, every North African I see, I'm like, hey, why don't you, whatever you're doing now, or this business, why don't you just pivot to something online and work back home? Oh, akhi, no, I don't think some guys never consider ever going back. Some people think about going back when they retire. And some people like yourself maybe open up to the idea,
Yeah, I mean, I think I could, I don't want to go too hard on my Algeria conclusions yet. I think it's
Okay.
too early.
Yeah.
I made videos, but I tried to make it clear. This is what I've seen so far, Yani. Let's see. So when I've been here maybe a year, then if I'm like liking it, then I'll go hard, and I think I'll convert a few people, bro. I think I'll convert a few people. I had a lot of people already. They joined the community, and they're like DMing me. They're like, "Yes, I'm Algerian. I want to move. Tell me about this. Tell me about that."
Yeah.
I feel like there's not much information out there on Algeria in English, for sure.
Yes,
There isn't
yes,
much in English.
yes.
There isn't much in Arabic even, because like most of these discussions are being had by people outside of Algeria.
Yeah.
And there is French though. Bro, I'm in a Facebook group. It has 130,000 people.
Yeah.
About moving to Algeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French.
And it's in French, and it's it's all French speakers, so people in France. And even some of the people that messaged me, they're living in France or something, but they speak English, And yeah, people are interested, bro. They're scared, isn't it? They're intimidated, not scared. They're intimidated. So I think some of these people, they're on the edge. If you reassure them, if you tell them, well, it works like this, and it works like this, and it works like this, then they'll make the move eventually, Yani. And already there's tons of people that are coming here. Like I see them,
Yeah.
So yeah, and Algerians, alhamdulillah, for now, Algerians are welcoming. Yani even I told you before, some people here, they guess that I'm Syrian because I don't speak with the full Algerian accent, right? But that's not a bad thing here. That's just like, well, Algerian. But it's not like in Turkey where it's like, you're scum of the earth.
Yeah.
For some people, not everyone.
Yeah.
So Algerians are very welcoming, very good. Obviously, there are ways that a foreigner or someone who's lived abroad could behave that would put people off and stuff like that. But I think that's something to be expected. As more and more people move to Algeria from France, etc., there will be that, there will be a bit of a backlash. There will be a period of adjustment. And I think it's begun already. Like from what I'm hearing, like the numbers of people moving here, like it's happening. And
but this is what they always wanted. This is what, when I listen to rhetoric from government officials or politicians or even like radio hosts and stuff, they talk about this notion, when I listen to Tunisian radio shows and stuff occasionally, they talk about this notion of like, oh, the people, like I saw this actually last week. There was this proposition that Tunisian citizens living abroad should pay a tax to the my laptop's going to die. A tax to the the country back home because we need the money, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are desperate for money. They have this jinsiyah. They should pay us for it. Something like that. So you living there and bringing some sort of income there and stuff, that's what they want. And it kind of closes that loop of why our parents left in the first place. Like, my family left North Africa for economic reasons. There's no, my dad certainly did, and my mother left because her dad did. But she left with her dad, that kind of thing. So she was a young girl when she left Morocco. But it was economic benefits. Alhamdulillah, I suppose my granddad returned to Morocco. My grandparents from, my mum's side, they returned there and they established there and they built their, and they gave back to their community in many, many ways. But the kids, it's like my mum got married and like my dad was planning to go back. And when he finally kind of did, he passed away. And it's like, oh, so you're just one generational sacrifice in the sense that you just need to do it once for your offspring to then be in Algeria and not be looked at any differently to anyone else that's Algerian, really. You have the awkward blip, but it's for you to make that sacrifice, so to speak, and deal with that kind of instability and uncertainty. And inshallah, like your kids would just, they'll go, whether they go to school or not, but, they'll integrate into that society as any other Algerian, and no one would ever consider or look differently. They'll have the accent. They'll know, I've always had it in my head, if I was to ever go to Tunisia, that my kids would, by 16, my kids would know way more about Tunisian society than I ever would. And I would rely on them to kind of, Akrali Hadi, or can you make sure, like, double check this for me? Do you know, that kind of thing? Because I'll still be using my English brain, and it might be like that for you.
I before I came here, I had it in my head that there is no reason to expect that I'm going to fully integrate or fully be like someone born and raised here. Even my dad, who was here for, I don't know exactly, I can't remember, but like at least 2 decades of his life. I think he left Algeria when he was, I don't know, 25, let's say. Yeah. He was here for 25 years. And guess what? When he's here, people still know that he's not quite from here.
True,
right?
Yeah.
So what does, it's because, bro, like he lived in the Gulf for like 25 years or whatever it is, 25 years. He uses words from the Gulf still, like it's Arabic, like he just like uses it. And they know there's something different about him because of these little things he has, the way he thinks, the way he talks slightly. And so of course, I didn't live any years here before. So I'm going to be different. Like, and even in Algeria, there are like in any country, there are subcultures, like the guy who's like from his dad's a plumber and he's a plumber or whatever is going to be different to the guy whose dad is a minister and this and that, like different cultures, different subcultures of any country. Yeah. And actually that's what I was thinking, because I saw a comment, one of these stupid nationalistic comments, I can't remember what it was saying exactly. Maybe it was saying something about, I'm not a real Algerian or someone else not a real Algerian. I'm just like, this concept of nationalism is just so dumb. Like making all, like, okay, if his mother is not Algerian, he's not Algerian. Or if his father's not Algerian, he's not Algerian. If he wasn't born in Algeria, it's like, it's all man-made rules, bro. It's all just, you just made it up. Like, just admit, like, okay, these are rules that you're happy with, you're comfortable with, but admit you've made it up out of your hair, out of your
you
ideas,
could keep
your
going.
opinion.
You could keep going. Like you don't this like
Yeah,
okay, Algeria
yeah,
is a country, but what about I don't know? I'm from Tizi Ouzou, so should I not be in Algiers or whatever it is? Like you could just keep
yeah.
going.
It's like, yeah, if
I'm
you're
from this
not
neighborhood.
Kabali, you're not Algerian. If you
I'm,
are Kabali, you're not. It's just like,
I'm from this
it's all
postcode,
made
and
up
you're from
junk,
that post. They've
right?
got it here in London.
Yeah,
What are you doing in
yeah.
my
Well,
ends?
yeah. So I think like people have to just wake up and realize it's all a load of junk, bro. It's a load of junk. Even
It's all
people arguing
projection.
about Morocco and, oh, your president was born in Morocco. He's Moroccan. Even your own president. Who cares about Morocco, Algeria? And like, I'm so happy that I'm not a nationalist in that sense. And I'm just like, I'm above it all in terms of just like, it's all junk to me, man. I'm just like, we're Muslims. If you
Yeah.
want to think like on that level, and inshallah, you can learn about this stuff was just made up to keep us down,
I
man.
saw a video the other day. Tunisian Tunisian Instagram reel.
Uh-huh.
Some guy's
Yeah.
gone to the desert in Tunis. He's filming this shepherd there. He's like, "Do you know what?" I think he said, "Do you know what a mobile is?" He's a young guy, could be our age. He's like, "Well, I don't know." He goes, "Do you know who the president is?" He named some like president from like years ago. I think it was like Borgio or something. Like, do you know what I mean? He's like,
Yeah.
he hasn't got a clue. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
do you know about Harb? Can't remember what war it was. Some Harb or
Yeah.
something that was happening. No idea. You know."
Yeah.
And it just made me think like for the vast majority of people, like they don't really care about, they care about what's in front of them. You know, they care if they got the food on the table today. They're not chronically online like a lot of these kids are that are arguing with you or whatever. And everybody's out there trying to just live the best life that they can, you know, and fear Allah while doing so. And this is just a vast majority of Muslims, right? And this perpetual kind of negativity or this like whatever raging online or whatever, it comes from a place of projection. It comes from a unfulfillment inside, and they hate to see someone out. They hate to see you win, bro. They just hate to see you win. And a lot of it is
The
that.
thing
All
is,
of it is
though,
that.
I'm not talking about the negativity per se, like hating on someone or negativity. I'm just talking about the nationalism as a kind of worldview or as like a heavy influence in the way you see the world. And that is prevalent, you know, that is very prevalent. Like people, how do I say it other than many people take these borders seriously and
Yeah,
take
but
these labels seriously.
the
And they
same.
should not at all.
They take it seriously when they feel like they've got someone in dead Homiani, someone in their league that they can argue with. But the moment they see a country that might be doing better than them and on many metrics, they start taking that inwards and saying, "Oh, Alesh Hakam, why are we like this?" And look, Bernie Adam, clean up clean up your streets. Look at Dubai, it's all clean. Or look at, and actually, usually it's a Kafir country. Usually it's like, "Oh, look at China. I'm in China and there's no," like they show videos of Chinese like airports or something and how clean and pristine it is. And they'll be like, "Why are we like this? Blah, 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 blah." And then when it's like your neighboring kind of Algeria, Morocco, or Tunis, or whatever, it's like, oh, well,
There's more
your
fighting.
country's
Yeah.
XYZ, and your country's full of this, and your country's got Zatla or prostitutes or whatever they want to call it. Do you know what I mean? They'll just get everybody's dirty laundry out, and we just start fighting with each other over nonsense.
Well, check this out. Actually, I pulled up this comment. I thought, so someone said Algeria is a huge downgrade on all levels. I guess I was talking about moving from Turkey to Algeria.
Right.
Algeria is a huge downgrade on all levels. Morocco is the better choice, more potential, better government, more stable, not unliving its neighbors. What's unliving? I don't know. Not unliving its neighbors.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's what they mean. Its neighbors and full of hate. If you have money, move to a Muslim country and make the business and working hours Islamic. That's the most important thing, obviously. That's Hijrah, if your working hours are Islamic. As in stop for prayer times, Friday and Saturdays off, Sundays back to work. Whenever possible, you should be a driving force of change. Don't expect any country to be. Anyway, I felt like this was a Moroccan, you know, like with that baggage, basically, that Morocco-Algeria baggage.
Right.
And yeah, it's like the better choice. You know, I never tell people like what country is better for them. Like even some people, they'll be better off staying in the UK. Not most people, but some people will be, you know.
Yeah.
Some people, even though like when you watch my videos, you're gonna see that I'm like not a big fan of Hijrah for the sake of Allah to improve your akhirah and having kids, raising kids, and going to UAE. Like, I still think it's the best thing. But I'm not going to say no one should ever go there and stuff. I guess that's what, maybe I'd get more like views and stuff if I did that. But yeah. So
I think for it's a path of least resistance for a lot of Muslims that come from the UK and have nowhere else. I mean,
yeah, 100%. I'm just talking about this black and white rules of where you can live and not live, and where's Hijrah and not Hijrah, and all of that.
of course,
nationalistic and stuff. This other person, he said, so stupid, so silly, so naive. Hijrah does not require a new country, but in essence, Hijrah means changing the heart and mind and bad deeds to become better.
Okay.
So it's all just an analogy.
The jihad of the soul, that one. That's
yeah,
what
exactly.
that's called. Yeah. I have a friend who's Libyan, and he's building in Libya, and he really wants to go, and and he sees it as Hijrah. He really is lost any. I don't even think he had hope in the UK, but he really is lost hope. And he had this thing, whether it's father to leave, and he took it to the local, some local shuyukh from different masajid here. And generally speaking, they are quite integrated and engaged in the UK. And, they're South Asian, I think, most of them. So they just generations and generations in the UK and established in the UK. And I don't think they didn't see it like he did. They didn't see it as, this fard, and you're going to be questioned. My friend has it in his head that he'll be questioned on Yawm al-Qiyamah for not leaving because he's got the capacity and ability to. And just for certain reasons outside of his control, he's just not able to go yet. Completely out of his control. But he can't stop beating himself up about being questioned. He's got kids and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be questioned about them, etc., etc." So he was trying to, I don't know, get some sort of not reassurance, but confirmation that what he's thinking is correct from the shuyukh. And they were like, no, it's not. And he's like, no. I remember they were arguing in this coffee shop. One saying it's fard, one saying it isn't. And it really does vary from person to person in their duruf. And I think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in our hearts and chests more than what we do. And I believe that any sort of positive and intention, to better your Islamic situation, no matter where it is, whether it is the UAE, there's certain places in the UAE that are obviously a fitna, and there's others that are far better. If you've got, I don't know, you could be in Algeria, for example, but you could be in the middle of the desert miles away from any masjid, right, or any activities, but you're in a Muslim country, right?
Yeah.
There's less sin, but there's also less opportunity to engage in good. You could be in the UAE, in Sharjah or something, opposite a Jama that's got activities all the time.
Yeah, that's why you have to do your own personal calculation. But don't be naive when you do the calculation. Don't when you do the calculation of the threats where you currently are, don't just brush it off and be like, well, I'm fine, I'll be fine, I am in control. Okay, but even if you are, some people 40 years old, 50 years old, they're in the UK, their iman is solid, no doubts, they don't really have fitna, But what about your kids? Are you that confident about your kids? Al-Muhim, you just have to make a calculation based on your personal situation. For example, when you go to whatever country, or if you're thinking of going to a country, what's your actual plan for your iman to be stronger, for your ajr and reward to be stronger, for your amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar to increase, for your whatever, visiting of the sick to increase? What's your plan for that? Is there a plan, or is it just, I'm going to hear the adhan, I'm going to be near a masjid, and that's it? Well, I mean, you could get that in the UK. Like, so what specifically, Yani? I think that's a good way of thinking about it, because that's what it's about. And of course, there is an actual technical scholarly discussion on this, which I'm not too, well read on the technicalities of what is Hijrah specifically, what is not Hijrah, and all of that.
Yeah.
But, I just think you have to do this calculation. Overall, the comments have been sick. The comments have been very positive. I was thinking in this episode we would find some juicy comments, I just got 3 so far. I read 2 of them, but this is a good example of like, you know, like a level-headed comment. Okay, so this person wrote on my video about my first few months or whatever in Algeria. They said, "I hope this is not just the enthusiasm of beginnings, brother. Algeria is not always as it may seem at first, and analysis are sometimes based on personal comparisons with other countries. While society still shows some respect for religion, its influence is gradually declining." So, you know, you can tell they're not a hater. They're just bringing up some points. So I like these comments, bro. It shows like some people are using their brain, you know. So, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
And I noticed a lot. Yeah, this is a big pattern in the comments, is especially from like Egyptians or Algerians or whatever that were commenting. The only people living in those countries, they, for example, they're born, raised in Algeria. What they know is Algeria. They see religiosity, for example, going down in Algeria. Therefore, Algeria is not the one. Okay. But people in every country do that because maybe globally religiosity is kind of going down a bit, right? But it's not about is the religiosity in your country going down. It's about where is it compared to other places. Yeah, you know what I mean? And because they've not experienced another country, maybe they can't make a comparison with the rest of the world. There is no, you know, they might say, yeah, you know, people are quite what's it called, multazim, like quite religious, whatever, in Algeria, but it's going down. Okay, well, where is, like, you're saying there's some sort of Jannah place, like where it's perfect? Like, no, not really, man. So this is what we always have to keep in mind, that we're not in Jannah. There's no perfect place. I think that's why, by the way, I like making these videos, because I notice always there's a clear difference between someone who's lived in one country their whole life and someone who's lived in many, you know, and the person who's lived in many, they know how to compare different countries better because they've been doing that from living in different countries. You know?
Your content, like now, because look, let's be honest, you might run out of stuff to talk about, you know, when it comes to Algeria eventually with this level of output, because I'm looking at them as like every few days you're uploading a new one. But like if you were really if you were really to like take this forward, like what I would love to see is just like a bit more candid kind of, just not interviews, but just chatting to people out, you know, for Qawi or Kulshay, and just seeing, you know, how they feel about people coming and what they think people should do, like yourself. So like a mic, you could put subtitles down on it for people that won't understand, and it's just like, okay, what do you think people that are North Africans, or if you want to hit that niche, or anyone that's, you know, their parents are from such and such country, Kibru in Europe, do you think they should come back, or do you think there's nothing for them here? And I bet you it'll be great, and there'll be overwhelming, you know, positivity. I mean, you could bring someone, you know, a friend or whatever, to your house to talk about it, but I think that kind of Lakawi vibe, street interviews, maybe take someone with you if it's a bit awkward, that can kind of be the middleman who asks the question or whatever. I think it'd be so good. And, you know, Zairia, you tell them that you're on YouTube, they'll start talking about England, bro. They'll love it. They'll love a bit of it. They'll want you to share the channel, and they'll say, they'll share it around. Bro, it's true. So I think
I'm gonna start to get noticed in the street, bro.
Yeah, but do you know what? There's so much of them. Wallahi, there's so much of them, akhi. There's so much. I think that's why I said, like, if you get, it doesn't have to be you, but like someone with you, and he's the one doing the main question and stuff. It kind of removes your, you know, face from it and stuff too much. But yeah, I think that'd be great. There's so much of that going on in North Africa, like just people doing YouTube videos, interviews and stuff, getting their opinions on stuff. But this is this isn't a political thing. This is just inviting those kind of people that already have the jinsiyah. We're not talking about, you know, it's unrealistic, really, isn't it? I mean, your videos are clearly directed mostly in terms of Algeria. It's going to be to the people that can realistically live there without the issues of visas and all this stuff.
Some people criticize me, actually. They're like, you know, I made this like ranking video, like putting different countries in ranking. They're like, bro, how dare you? Like, how could you put Algeria in the same tier as Albania? Right. And I was like, you know what? I flopped on that one. But the reason I did it is because I was thinking of someone who's not an Algerian citizen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I could imagine that'll just be the biggest headache to move here as a non-Algerian. So that's why I did that. But yeah, like some countries are more closed than others. But like, for example, if you're not Egyptian, you could probably still go to Egypt. That'll be all right. That'll be manageable. But Algerian, like Algeria, Libya, maybe Tunisia, I think it might be difficult, Yani, although some people do it. Some
Yeah,
people
I
do.
mean, you know, Twensa living in Algeria is quite common, but I think beyond that, I don't think you'll find anyone else that has it that easy living there.
I
The
came
relation,
across there's a white guy that lives around my neighborhood.
yeah,
He's like fully white French guy.
yeah,
He lives here, and I met another guy who just moved here from Tunisia. He's white, like French
yeah,
convert as well. And well, these guys do it for the sake of Allah, bro. Like
really.
I don't know why they come here because maybe because of the language, I don't know. But like, you could have gone to the Khalij, right? You came here and made your life.
Well, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of, you know, what's the word? Infamy when it comes to the Gulf that spreads around online. And I think people consume a lot of that and believe a lot of that. And it really
I think
warps them.
a lot of the people that come here from France, etc., I think they're legit, bro. Like they're actually making a sacrifice. You know, they're not coming here and living it large. You know,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of them are living on low incomes, or they come here and they actually try and make money from here, which is not easy, bro. They might come. I've seen some guys, bro. They'll be like, okay, I'm leaving France. One asset that I have is my car. I'm gonna come to Algeria. I'm gonna do taxi runs. Like that's how I'm gonna try and earn a living. Other people, they might like buy a property and try and rent it out or something. Like people are not coming here living large. People are coming here and like, yeah, you're right. I think they're not going to the Khalij because they see it as less like conservative, and they're literally coming here despite them knowing the difficulty it might be or the lack of less convenience compared to the Khalij. They're coming here because it's for the sake of Allah, you know, and that's so pure.
I mean,
that's so sick.
my friend who went to Egypt, his dad is Egyptian. You know, he didn't have. I mean, I think he aspired to, but it just never really worked out. Like online business and running it from Egypt. But he just came. He was in England, obviously, and he just saved as much as he could, and then went out there. And then whether he lived off his savings for a bit or, but he's living a farm life, like agriculture. That's what he's doing there, and that's really, that's really. And I'm sure a lot of these guys, they probably did save in France, saved and thought, okay, I'm going to try and do something with this. It might not work out. They might go over there and it just they live off the savings for a bit and then have to, align with the rest of society. But not a lot of, I think we get a bit taken for a ride a bit with the online kind of money making routes. Well, not everyone has access or the capacity for that, and some people will have to make hijrah or make the move purely on the move without any like cutting off, the umbilical cord of Europe completely.
Yeah, exactly. I had a few other things that we could kind of comment on. Oh yeah, this one. What about this whole Somali thing, bro? Have you read into that?
I kind of.
Do you know like what the details of it? Could you give a summary?
So I made a tweet about this, and then I walked back on it because I was like, do you know what? I need to stop like getting involved in things that've got nothing to do with me.
Okay.
I just wrote Chunks. He's from Somaliland, or he's a Somalilander.
No, but wait, let me be clear, bro. We can discuss that,
it.
by the way. But I was talking about this fraud, benefits fraud in the US.
Oh, I don't know anything about this.
Okay, we'll cover both. Okay, well, Somaliland, go on.
Okay. I've heard something about it, but I don't know anything about it enough to talk about it.
Okay.
No, this was all about the like recognition from Israel, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And then I was in a funny mood, so I just like found this old video of Chunks that he tweeted where he was celebrating Somaliland Independence Day. I quote tweeted it, and I just said, "Oh no." That's what I said, and it went viral, bro. 500,000 people saw it, and 500,000 people, and I was just like,
Wait, was this tweet recent or a while ago?
No, he tweeted it like maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago or a year ago.
Right.
Completely irrelevant.
Well,
And
so
I
you were
just,
the one that uncovered it and brought it to the
it came up on my
light.
timeline. And
I
I,
came
as
out.
a joke, I kind of like
Mm,
half of it was like a joke of like, oh no,
mm,
he's celebrating. And half of it was a joke of
mm,
like, oh no, when people find this. Then inadvertently
mm,
realizing I'm the one who made people find it because 500,000 people saw it. And then they were like, obviously I was getting a lot of different comments. And then people were like, oh, your king is a Yehudi anyway. Like the people saying this about me because I have a Moroccan, Tunisian Moroccan
Oh,
thing. And
okay,
then I
okay.
was just like, oh no, this isn't good. Like
Not constructive.
I'd muted the conversation. You know when you get so many notifications, I just muted it.
Yeah,
Then I
yeah.
came back to it the next day and it had 500,000, and I thought this
Oh,
was bad.
kill
I
it.
I deleted it, and I was like, I don't care if they think they made me delete it, because in a way they kind of did. It's not them telling me to delete it.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah,
the
yeah,
fitna that
yeah.
I created,
Yeah.
right?
Bro, haven't you done this before with that dude? You got that dude cancelled. What was it?
Yeah, this is it. Twitter's a wild west. You could tweet something that you think is amazing, and
Yeah,
no one cares about it, no one sees it. And then you just do something,
yeah,
you're in a funny mood and you want to make a funny joke, and suddenly
yeah.
it backfires and you do so, Anyway, um, so yeah, yes, look, the recognition, the thing, the whatever, I don't care anymore. I really don't.
Mm,
I don't care. I
mm,
think it's pointless. I think you've got to start realizing that we're just fighting with each other about decisions that politicians make for their own interests. Like, oh, now I'm going to be fighting all these people that identify as coming from this region or Somaliland or whatever. And,
mm,
I'm sure they just prayed Maghrib like I just prayed Maghrib. And now this suddenly new thing that wasn't here yesterday is going to start ripping us apart. Like, yesterday, someone from Somaliland, like before this happened, someone from Somaliland was praying Maghrib like I was praying Maghrib, and they had no
mm,
association with Israel. And now, because this recognition has happened, suddenly you're boxing them into this hole and forcing them to denounce their
mm.
country or where they're from or whatever. You're just creating a fitna. It's like, and then that's why they started doing the same thing with me. They started searching for Morocco normalization, all this stuff like Abraham Accords or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, oh, you've
yeah,
never
yeah.
spoke about it. I was like,
Mm,
yeah, I haven't, and I'm not. I think what put a sour taste in people's mouths was seeing all these
mm,
clearly paid for
mm,
Somalilanders waving Israeli
mm.
flags in the streets and stuff like that. That's what triggered a lot of people, because
Yeah.
even like when you talk about, I don't know, UAE normalizing with Israel, whatever it might be, or any country normalizing with Israel, it's
Mm,
rare that you see that level of public kind of flag waving,
mhm.
you know? Like Maghreb has got the
Yeah.
Abraham Accords, but you don't see a lot of Moroccans unless it's like a closed setting of actual
Oh,
Moroccan
that's
Jews.
very small. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like out in the streets waving Israeli flags and stuff. So,
Yeah. I reckon maybe all of that was paid people, isn't it?
bro, suddenly we've got flags. We didn't have flags yesterday.
That's true.
Where would you get an Israeli flag
Wait,
in,
you're talking about
Zaire?
Somaliland flag?
No, Israeli
No,
flags in
Israeli.
Somaliland.
Ah, exactly. Where do you get those from? Yeah.
Timu, it takes a few
Yeah.
days to deliver.
It
So,
takes a few weeks, actually. Yeah. Especially to Somaliland, it might take a few months.
I mean, hypothetically, Zaire, right now, you want to
Yeah.
source an Israeli flag. Where are you going to find that?
Yeah. I have to
Well,
go abroad. Yeah.
you have to bring it in. So this is
Yeah,
all
yeah,
bought
yeah,
and
yeah.
paid for, And
You
when
know,
I saw like
in
women.
Istanbul,
Yeah, go on.
there was this Yemeni restaurant, and to get into it, you have to walk over an Israeli flag to get in.
Oh, subhanallah, subhanallah. I mean, look, I think in retrospect, I have my ebbs and flows of when it comes to online discourse and social media and stuff, and I think,
Mm,
I'm trying to avoid. Even though I make mistakes, bro, I think that was a clear mistake. I just didn't need to get involved in that at all. I don't know anything about it. I shouldn't pretend to do it. And just because I have a habit, and I'm sure a lot of people do, you see an opportunity to make something funny, and
yeah,
you can't help yourself. You pull the trigger. If I see
yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
ironic or funny, I can't help but pull the
Mm,
trigger. And that's my personality. It's a weakness I've got. I've got it in a
mm,
room. Like I'll be sitting with people, and I'll just see the perfect setup for
yeah,
something hilarious,
yeah,
and I
yeah, yeah. I
can't
know what you mean.
pull
I
the
know what you
trigger.
mean. I know what
you
you
know,
mean.
and I do regret it. I do regret it in retrospect. So I'm
You know,
trying to fix
based on
that.
that, we haven't had too much trouble with the podcast because the podcast is very lightly edited or not edited, right? So we
Yeah,
should have a lot worse moments than we've had.
Yeah.
But on a serious level, like with the Somaliland thing, obviously, most people that want their region or whatever to become an independent state, whether it's
Yeah.
Kurdistan, whether it's Somaliland, a lot of the time they want it because maybe they feel their people have been deprioritized by the central government of that country or whatever, right? So if Israel recognizes that state, it doesn't change anything about what they were feeling, yani, the fact that the reasons that they wanted that country. But obviously, they shouldn't be celebrating that recognized by Israel. They shouldn't even see Israel's recognition as anything, yani, in the end. In fact, it's an anti-signal. It's like, okay, if I want, let's say I want my province of Algeria, to get independence. If Israel recognizes my province, the independence of my province, it's probably a sign that if we did get independence, it would be like a terrible government in charge, right? Because they're obviously getting the recognition from Israel. So it's a bad sign in that sense. But probably the average Somalilander, yani, wasn't really caring about the recognition of Israel. Maybe they're deep down, they're a bit hopeful that, okay, maybe this is getting the balls rolling, the wheels turning, whatever. But I just think I'm just so, like, I understand some people, they feel they've been, deprioritized, they've been neglected by the government, whatever. I have sympathy for that. I don't have sympathy for you if you're like, we're a distinct cultural people and therefore we should have borders around. No, I'm not really interested in that. But people will not understand how anti and not care about nationalism, nation states I am. Bro, if tomorrow I woke up and they announced that from now on, Algeria is part of Morocco, I literally wouldn't care. I literally wouldn't care. As long as obviously the laws and the Islamic side of things, the stuff that pleases Allah and the Prophet, like, if that's the saying, I do not care, bro. Tunisia is tiny. If Algeria becomes part of Tunisia and now it's called Tunisia, I don't care, bro.
How would you feel? This is the question, because I've been thinking like in a different way about a lot of this stuff than I used to. Yeah. But how would you feel if, like, I don't know, Algeria decided to just, I don't know, fracture a bit? Suddenly there was two regions. Would that spark something in you? Now, bear in mind though, sorry, a caveat is that nothing changes in terms of the other regions, Islam or they're practicing, or even any outside influence,
I think that's a negative thing.
Okay.
I think that's a negative thing. I think we should be as united as possible. And obviously we should be as strong as possible. And generally the bigger our countries, the more united we are, the stronger we'll be. So that's why I don't think that would be a good thing.
See, when I look, I think I've started to, I don't know if I'm correct, but I'm having this phase of my mind where I'm starting to care less about ethnic groups or groups in general, as long as they're still Muslim, like wanting their own arena. Because, like, just even a brief or a cursory look at history. I mean, Mecca and Medina were completely different places. Now they're in one country. But they had their own, before they used to be.
Well, I think that's a different argument.
No, but even in history,
what that argument is?
Go for it.
That's the argument against big government. You know?
Yeah.
And I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
So this is the fracturing once again. Like, you have, like, I mean, even look at medieval Europe. This castle.
Yeah.
This.
Although that made them weak, though. That did make them weak. But what we need is less government, like central government intervention into the micro decisions of cities or regions, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But there still needs to be a unified government when it comes to stuff like foreign policy, military, stuff like that. We should still have that. That's as far as I understand, that's the Islamic model. Yani, the central government does not, or even you could say should not, get involved in individual fatwa being given in that city or that region, right? But they should and they need to maintain the borders. They need to maintain the military. They need to have some sort of macro policy on things. But to get involved in the day-to-day, leave that up to the region or the city or whatever.
I just don't think that the regions, the nation states that we have, the Western nation states that we have, and that power structure is just going to be perpetual for that long. I feel like America's fracturing, Europe's fracturing, everybody's in fighting, and like if it was up to a lot of states in America, they would be their own independent sort of entity. It's not the United States forever. It would be states of North America as opposed to the United States.
I reckon think about it. Why in the last 100 years, let's say, why has there been more unity in that sense, right? And why have we had countries coming together like the EU? You know what it might be? This just came to my mind. It might be because people have dropped their values and principles, and they've united upon one principle, which is moolah, cash, dineros.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's like, for example, I'm a Texan or I'm a Californian. I don't want to mix with you guys, like a Californian doesn't want to mix with Louisiana person.
This is it.
Yeah. But for the sake of money, let's do it.
Yeah, but it goes that both ways for the individual. This is where this unity element comes from. And I'm not saying disunity like that's when we said about Islam or whatever, like the practice in Muslim. It's like, okay, I live in Texas, okay, and I pay taxes that get spent nationally, and look, there's this big investment in California, but some of that money is my money. Why are they spending it over there? Or why they? So everything wants, people want to see where they're spending their money in front of them, and I think there is a push for that kind of element, and it's the same like any kind of look. At the end of the day, the foreign states and foreign entities do capitalize on separatist movements. That's that goes as far back as Star Wars. Long ago in a galaxy far, far away. Like
that Star Wars in the past.
That's a debate for superfans to have. I don't know, but that's how the movie.
I'll find that in the Reddit after we record.
The movies start with a long time ago in a galaxy far away, but even those films had like separatist movements and this and that, and that was my first. Exposure to the word separatist. It was Phantom Menace. It was the early 2000s. I don't know what that means. Didn't realize Star Wars was all political, but hey. And it made me think about like what's happening in the Sahara, in Zaire, in Maghreb. God, I said Moroccans, don't kill me. And all of this kind of stuff. And, this Somaliland stuff, like someone said to me, like, hey, did you know that Somalia a long time ago was made up of all sorts of different tribes and different people, and there was never this entity of nation state, and then suddenly it's forced upon people that never had nation state models before. So why 100%. Are you so surprised that they want to go back to how things were? Like that community identifies as a tribal community with tribal borders and tribal entities, and you want to impose this unity structure that they never really had before. That 100%. They're all still Muslim, they all still pray together, they all still fast together on the same. But you want to impose this like one flag, one nation, one. And then I started thinking about that. And I was like, okay,
exactly.
You know what? You might be right, and I might be wrong. And I'm imposing a very Western-centric, Eurocentric, here's a flag for everyone thing on a people that don't necessarily.
Well, the same is true in Europe, bro. Think of Belgium. 100%. Belgium's made of two peoples, isn't it?
Yes.
Made of the Flemish and the French people. So why do they stick together? Some of these people have a strong identity. Like I believe the Flemish people, like they have a decently strong identity, but if they had a stronger identity, they might want to break away, whatever. But probably for the sake of, like we said, like just that harmony and money and whatever, like let's just roll with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But bro, but this is the exact, funnily enough, this is the argument against nationalism, that people don't belong in these boxes that you put them in. Like, why do the Kurds want their own country?
Yeah.
Not because I think they're obsessed with having a nation, or like, maybe they are in that case, but like, it's because Saddam gassed them and Saddam killed them and he imprisoned them and blah, blah, and Turkey this and this. It's like the nation state, central government did something bad to these people. But what if it was just loose? It's like, you're generally under this government. You don't have to follow any, flag or language. We're not going to force that on you. We're just generally united. We don't have borders between us. It might be generally known amongst the people, okay, the Kurdish kind of area
You're aligned with
begins
this
here,
faction. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It might be like that, but generally we're all Muslim. We all have the same army, but yeah, flags, languages, this and that. It's like
It's
that's
tough,
all
isn't it?
fugazi. It's all just loose. It's fine.
You
It's
live in a
fine.
world where like, okay, a loose entity gets, faced off with a more unified one. Like when I started thinking about this a lot, it's sort of a side point. I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Assassin's Creed game set in the United Kingdom before it was United Kingdom, just England. But
Okay.
you play as a Viking, right? But I was going around the I keep saying UK. I was going around England and I was like, oh, let me see where I live, kind of thing. I went down to South Coast and stuff. But it was like, okay, all these castles and forts, and they've all got their own king, and they've all got their own, and they're like obviously disunited. And suddenly you get these Vikings that have come from Norway and just blitzing, area by area. And it made me think of that, like, okay, you've got a disunited entity, but you've got these pocket empires or pocket sort of what's the word I want to use? There's a word for
Kingdoms or
yeah, exactly. Kingdoms, I
cantons
suppose.
or yeah.
Yeah, and they're obviously going through their own thing. And this one, the throne is empty. This king is a drunkard. And suddenly you've got this force that comes out of nowhere. And I suppose, like you said, back in the day, it was like that. But whether I don't know which direction the world's heading in. I just feel like we take for granted the time we live in, and actually, it just could be a blip in a history. We could easily regress back to how things were, and this was just a blip, a moment. Because of the fallout of World War II, America found space to become this superpower, but it doesn't mean it will be a superpower forever. Things will just regress to how they were. It's like, it's just we are living in like a splash of what just happened in World War II.
Well, we're always like that.
Things will go back.
It'll be interesting, like the US. There's like a sick book written. It's called Prisoners of Geography.
Yeah,
and it's about how countries or regions or countries are rich or poor or strong or weak, largely because of their geography. That's like the argument that the book makes. And it explains how the US is so powerful because of the geography. It's kind of got the Pacific and Atlantic on each side. It's only got borders with 2 countries. It's got, all these different climates. It's pretty large. It's got, and imagine if it wasn't like united, right? Like, for example, the hot states, whatever, Arizona, New Mexico, if they need water, they could get it from up north because they're in the same country. But what if they were split off? Now it becomes a situation like, let's think of, like Egypt and Sudan and Ethiopia. They're fighting over the Nile, right? But what if they were one country? There'd be no issue, right? So imagine the US being separated by West and East. So those in the West don't have access to the Atlantic and vice versa. They don't have access to the Pacific.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting, like how powerful a country can get because of that landmass. But sometimes the landmass can get in your way. It becomes this huge area that you have to defend and you have to, have this sovereignty and control over, which could actually drain your resources. So, so Palna's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I think in the end, people just want dignity. They want to be treated justly. And they don't want to have to like push down or hide who they are, who they feel they are as an identity, Annie, whether it's a language or a culture or traditions. And Islam allows for that. That's why Islam can spread so far. Because when Islam, when the Kurds met Islam, it didn't tell them to get rid of everything, But when Ataturk met the Kurds, he said, get rid of everything. This is the thing, right? So
and the big government is quite a new development. You just read,
100%.
like I was reading Ibn Battuta's travels through the Muslim world and just seeing that first-hand account and how loosely, these areas were kind of, there wasn't like a fatwa that came down upon the whole of the Muslim world.
Exactly.
Exactly. But now we do live in the CCTV big government, like 10 Downing Street knows, well, not 10 Downing Street, that's a bad example, but Algiers knows what's happening in, I don't know any other places, Oran, for example.
Well, I don't know if Algiers is a good example either.
No, but like, one email and that's it. It's not like someone has to travel on horseback to send that message across. Or,
100%.
they could just log in and have a look and, they know what you're spending your money on and they know where you are and what taxes
this like, this argument of like, the world is so globalized, and some problems you have to tackle on a very big scale. Like climate change can only be tackled if all countries work together, and that's kind of the argument for like one world government, right? It's like we can only tackle climate change if we have one world government, or we can only tackle whatever, right? So the same argument could be applied to the nation, like a large nation, yani. We need a big government in order to coordinate all the states to work better, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
That could be an argument. But I'm sure like what we're discussing, people have written countless PhDs on this stuff, you know.
Of course. It's an amateur level
So
discussion.
that's Somaliland. So Somaliland, good, bad, quick.
Right. Oh, this is bad. I don't know.
I'm
You know what?
joking, I'm joking.
Let the people that need to care. May Allah guide us to what's best. You know, that's all I can say. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's very interesting though to see, like kind of like you said at the beginning, a few people in few meetings like decide things, and all of a sudden everyone's reacting so emotionally when it kind of has nothing to do with a lot of us, subhanAllah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay, here's a tweet. Okay, this is a mixture of. So I don't know too much about this, but apparently there was a big fraud uncovered in Minnesota. As you might know, Minnesota is like known for Somalis, full of Somalis living over there in that state in the US. And there was some big fraud uncovered where I think hundreds of millions of dollars of benefits fraud was going on. This is over decades, I think. And I don't know if, I guess, not I don't know. I know for sure that the way that it was put out there was like it's Somalis doing it all, or they were highly, highly implicated in it. And they were even saying that there were Somalis who had, what's it called? They were running like the childcare nurseries or whatever.
Right.
And because they're running that, they get money from the government to operate it. But it was like a fake one where there's no kids even there, and they're just claiming that there's all these kids. So fraud, basically.
Right.
And I think there was some element of Democrats, because it's generally a blue state. So the Democrats were going quiet on that because Somalis tend to vote for them or something like that. So it's like, you know, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And so this has come to light. And I think it was even Trump himself. He went on this whole thing. Yeah, he did. Press conference, just went fully against Somalis.
I didn't know why that happened, but yeah, I did see it.
Yeah, and he's like, he's saying the Somalis, terrible people, perhaps some of the worst people we've ever had in this country, and all of that. Yeah. So check out this tweet. Yeah, after what happened in Venezuela, someone said this: "I'd rather they use the Black Hawks, you know, so the Black Hawks that they sent to get Maduro, I guess. I'd rather they use the Black Hawks to kidnap and remove Somalis, to be honest."
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, that's just racism and racism. That's all that is, isn't it? It's nothing to do with the flipping. If you really cared about fraud and all that stuff, you'd be standing outside of Wall Street or God knows wherever. Like, what society or community or people haven't committed fraud? Name me one. Everybody does it. Every person, you know, you could get 10 Somalis that do it and suddenly all Somalis are responsible. You could get 10 Tunisians that do it and all Tunisians. Look at this. As long as you're an quote unquote outsider from this country, one of you does something, all of you have done it. You know? I see some Algerians fighting with knives in London. Oh, Zaria, Raga. Oh, come over here and start pickpockets. Oh, the Albanian drug dealers. Oh, this, like, it's just a long line of things. I wouldn't, you know, I don't know. It's just another moral.
You know who said that?
Go for it.
Your boy, Andrew Tate.
What did he say? Is he weighing in?
He said what I just read.
Oh, really? That was him.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from. Maybe because I can't remember if I muted him. I just don't see his face at all. I thought he became irrelevant.
Yeah.
What a knob. Excuse my French.
I came across him. Like I went on his X profile just to find some stuff like, you know,
material.
So I found this tweet, but I also found, you know, he does these live streams So
Oh,
now in his live stream, he's got this big American flag behind him, as if
he's weighing in on
I don't know
his.
what.
Yeah, bro, they're
Yeah,
all
as if
like
it's
this.
his country, and I don't know. Like, okay, officially it might be his country, but what's he got
It's
to
a
do with it?
game.
And he's talking about, I don't care about Venezuela. I don't care about what Venezuelans want for their country. We're America. We can go and get the oil and this and that. I was like, since when
It's
did you care about
yeah. No
America?
one has principles. Actually, look, you're on YouTube.
Mm,
You know, we're on
yeah.
Mind Heist. Uh,
Mm,
you can 10x your following tomorrow. You've got a small follower base
mm,
on that new channel. You know,
mm,
I say small.
mm,
It's all right. It's significant. But you could just
mm,
10x it tomorrow by,
mm,
I don't know, digging
mm,
into the real kind of stuff that gets people going. You know,
mm.
you could start. You could go hard on the anti-golf
Why I'd
stuff.
never do
You know,
Hijrah to Somalia.
or you could anything controversial, or the
Yeah.
real story between Morocco and Algeria. Why I would never
Yeah,
make
yeah, yeah.
Hijrah to Morocco. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
in response to that comment, Morocco, I'd
Yeah.
never. The Jews, the
Yeah.
Zionists. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
could
yeah,
cash
yeah.
in. You could cash in.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I've seen Muslims getting. Forget Andrew Tate. I don't know what his situation or what he is on, but I see Muslims getting into this rage baiting, content creation under the guise of dawah. And you touched upon it before we started recording, but I hate it. I hate it all. I
Mm.
think
Yeah.
we haven't become pioneers. We were in this space and we wanted to be pioneers, and suddenly we just followed them into a lizard's hole. These content creators,
Mm.
whether they're, the Nick Fuenteses and the Andrew Tates and all that crowd of right wing nut jobs that are essentially just chasing the paycheck, chasing the gambling sponsorship deals and the views, and that's all it is. And they're unprincipled. It was yesterday. It was America first. Today, it's your oil is our oil. Well, you know what I mean. I don't know what he posted. I just saw it earlier. Like it meant to be like a my body, my choice kind of meme, but it was like your oil,
Okay.
my choice. I think that's what he said.
Okay.
You know, and there's a
Okay.
few that come up and they're like maybe show signs of principle. I think that
Mm.
Sneeko, I kind of see some of his stuff sometimes, and I like his stuff. You
I
know,
think Sneako's rated from what I've seen from a distance.
yeah, from what I've seen, like he will call out people's nonsense, but he was part of that crowd before. I think, based on his come up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like I feel like Muslims are like some content creators are just borrowing from that because they see the views, they consider the views as equaling success. They're like, all right, we need to implement some of that, shock
Mm.
factor, some of that thumbnail clickbait, some of that raging, some of that reactionary content, um, and it's just not nice. And I hold my hands up. I think part of that Somaliland thing was me doing the same thing. I did. I think I did the
Yeah.
same thing, 100%. And I was like, that was stupid. Why was I doing that? Now
I
I could have
think it's
kept it up,
designed to
but
tempt you. It's designed to
yeah,
tempt you into that.
yeah,
But
100%.
that's why it's like, okay, do it for a day, like you did it for not a day, a few hours. Do it for a week, do it for a month, but do it for months, do it for years. And now it's like, halas, you're not sincere.
It's just horrible, and it hurts the heart. And then, you know, I recently thought I've been thinking a lot about death, bro. Thinking a lot about
Mm.
a brother Latif, Abdul Latif, passed away in Nigeria recently, very
Mm.
suddenly.
Rahimahullah.
Rahimahullah, and he was very close friends with a lot of my friends. I've never, well, actually, I might have met him a couple of times, but I'd never, I didn't know him like that. I think I had his number or whatever, but never spoke to him privately or anything like that. But because he's such a close friend of all my friends, it just really impacted me because I was like, oh man, subhanallah, like it's just insane. When it's like that, it's insane and it's crazy and it's a
Mm.
shock and it's a wake up call. And it did make me think about all this sort of content or everything we keep online because alhamdulillah, the brother has du'as upon du'as being made for him, people being impacted by his good work. He was very active in the Spot Project, all this charity work. He did a lot of stuff with Freshly Grounded. There's stuff and khair that he's left behind, right? Um, and despite the fact that he had what many would consider a very admirable life, he's working with really big names and doing his thing, and he's fit and healthy, Allah barak, and Allah took him away so suddenly, and it just got me thinking about a lot of meet myself first and foremost, but then like I felt sorry for all these guys. You know, I felt sorry for all these guys online that their legacy is just drama. You know, if any one of these guys is to pass away tomorrow, they've just got this archive of drama that's left behind, and you have to sift through it to find any khair to share. And it's like, and it made me think of so many things that we post online. It made me think about Mind Heist really, and I thought, man, if I was to go tomorrow, like, okay, sure, maybe there'll be people that will share some benefits. Like I know my wife probably would. Maybe my kids will grow up one day and want to share some stuff. But is there anything? Have I left anything that they might want? Like people might want to share? Hopefully there's something in this treasure trove of Mind Heist that people will bother clipping and sharing for us. But then it made me think, have I said or done something stupid? Like, is this stupid stuff that's still going to be out there? And that's why I deleted a lot of that stuff. It's like, dude, I need to like, obviously this happens all the time. People die all the time and we get reminded all the time and then we slip and then we renew our intentions and stuff. But really it's a common, like I was really thinking a lot about the drama, the drama online and those that engage in that 24/7. Dude, I couldn't do it. I've sat with some people in the Dawah scene, and I've said it before. I've asked them. I've said, "How do you do this all the time?" Because I delete my content. Like every year, I wipe my tweets because I have this thing that happens. The thing I'm talking about now, I'm like, oh my god, what if I've said? Bro, there've been times where I've wanted to just delete like the last 5 years of Mind Heist. I just haven't said anything because I can't remember what was said, and because I can't remember, I get scared. And I'm like,
fair enough.
I'm gonna have to. I'm terrified. What if I've said something stupid?
I mean, that's like a microcosm of Yom Al Qiyamah, where you have your, your book of deeds, and this is the thing. If your book of deeds gets opened, you're in trouble, right? If it just gets open, if it gets looked through, you're in trouble. So before that day happens, look through your book of deeds now, because you can clean it now, innit?
Yeah, it made me think of these sweeping statements we say about countries and people as well. Like that's why I've, you've noticed, mate, you've definitely noticed a shift in my language when it comes to talking about Muslim countries. Sure, like you point it out, it's clear as day. But like someone the other day shared something in a group chat about the UAE. I know they've made this decision with Israel or whatever it might be, and then someone else commented, "Well, I've told you for 10 years that the UAE are the Jews of the Middle East." And I was just like, dude, like, I don't know what you intend by saying that. Maybe you're talking about the government. Maybe you're talking about, you could be perceived to be talking about the people, And then what if you have to face those people Yom Qiyamah with that statement, And I get it. Like, I get the governments make decisions that frustrate you. But you're in a private group chat and what you've said has made no impact whatsoever. You haven't changed anything about what's happening over there, that negative thing. Like, I don't know, we say stuff like it reminded me about the Somaliland thing. Like, I could come out and say, say something like stupid or make a joke or whatever it might be. Maybe I have to face those people. I might not. It might be a minor, but it's safer to just not go down that path, right? What is a little old me in Brighton sitting in my computer or on my phone? Like, all I'm doing is clout chasing by making stupid comments like that. So ideally, we just all have to renew our intentions because it's so easy, isn't it? And we say it and we hear it all the time, but it's so easy to just get caught up in the dunya and think that you're guaranteed to live to old age. And one day I'll wipe my content and deal with what I've put out there and, the things I've said and the things I might have annoyed or harmed people with. I don't want anything, bro, left behind that is going to like cause a scene, with anyone.
The only people that would care about this kind of stuff are people that actually believe in the Akhirah, because, even these days, bro, even a scandal, it lasts a week, If you have a scandal, just chill for a week. You don't say anything for a week, people are going to forget and move on to the next scandal. There's not even much accountability in this life at all, right? And so the same goes with when you throw out comments, throw out a tweet, throw out a video, throw out this and that, people will get enraged or whatever, and they'll move on. You'll get maybe the money out of it or the boost of ego, whatever you get out of it. And then you feel like it's gone. You've moved on. But only the one who remembers the Akhirah, they remember Yawm al-Qiyamah, they'll worry about that thing
Mm.
because they're worried about what Allah's gonna think or say or judge for them about, and not the people. Because if you're worried about the people, they've forgotten about it. And a week later, they've forgotten about it. But that's the problem. The angels wrote it. So this is actually like, this is a matter of Iman and how taqwa, bro, is how conscious you are that Allah is watching everything, the angels are writing everything, and there will be a day of judgment.
100%.
Yani the level of certainty that you have of that and how like conscious you are of that will reflect 100% on what you say.
And the people you influence, because it reverberates. What you could be held accountable for the actions you've influenced. I mean, I called out. I've called out a few personalities that have said some stupid stuff on Twitter. I think I might have deleted them now because I don't want to be that guy. I hate having to do it, but sometimes you get pushed to a point where you feel like this is damaging and needs to be advised. And like, one of these guys wrote like, "Oh, teaching women how to write was a mistake." All right. He quote tweeted some allegedly, I don't know anything about the girl, but allegedly feminist Muslim woman. Right. So teaching women how to write was a mistake. And that just infuriated me because you're meant to be, you position yourself as this public figure representing Islam. And this talking point of teaching women to write was a mistake is a Nick Fuentes or right wing red pill
he's
talking point.
He's not even serious saying that.
I know.
He's joking basically, isn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't really, I don't care. It's
no,
a bad joke.
I know. I'm saying it's not worth it. Just for a joke.
I know, it's not worth it. And then I got a bit angry, and I just, I get angry at people that have these positions of influence that allegedly represent us and say stupid stuff like that. Like, okay, you could have a debate, or there's people that debate each other in the Islamic sphere, Ash'ari, Salafi, these kind of debates. I don't get involved in those because people do get vulgar and talk smack with each other then and say horrible stuff to each other there. I'm not going to get involved in that but this is a step beyond that. This is like, anyway, what I realized is that also went a bit viral, and all of the guy's followers were just saying some horrendous stuff to me. And now, cussing me out and cussing and like wanting to fight me, bro. Like these teenagers wanting, like, where do you live? When I see you, we're going to have a fight. We'll talk about all these, they're giving me all these moves. One kid kept giving me all these like UFC submission moves or whatever. Okay. I was like, I don't. Yeah, like, what's your favorite submission? I was just thinking, like, this is sad. Your brain has been rotted so much by this person who's influenced you that you don't even know how to conduct yourself anymore. Because I've damaged, well, I'm not damaged, but I've seemingly insulted your idol.
Daddy.
Yeah, who's actually insulted every single woman on the planet with this immature, stupid joke. Whether it is a joke or not, Allahu Alam, because it could be argued based on the litany of things that the gentleman talks about. Anyway, and this is it. Like, yes, we have those impulsive kind of, and I admit, like I said, my thing when I wrote "Oh no" about chunks, that video, that was one of them. That was like a joke that you can interpret that however you want. Me writing "Oh no" isn't really a statement. It could be "Oh no, they're going to come after him," or "Oh no, he's one of the it could be anything, right? And it was, for me, my intention was like a sarcastic. Obviously, he's not supporting, but it was like a joke, like, "Oh no, he's celebrating." I shouldn't have done that. 100%. Hold my hand up. But then there's people that's just them constantly, and they don't walk back, and they don't delete, and they don't. It's all out there, and it always will be out there. And I feel sad and sorry that. We've got kids, Akhi. 10 years from, like, what happens 10 years after I die and my kids are dealing with like viral videos of me or whatever, like, it's like those kids that their mothers are ex OnlyFans people, and there's videos of them on the internet and the shame and the sorrow that they've got to deal with, generations, bro. Imagine your grandkids. Imagine grandkids and stuff, like, it's horrible. But the online, the internet doesn't forget, Akhi. The internet doesn't forget. Yeah. I've never even thought about that before, by the way. Like, just now, it dawned upon me, like, generations down the line. Oh, you could be a great-great-grandfather. My great-great-granddad used to battle feminists online. Look what he used to say about them. Look what you used to say about Muslimas in the big
You know how you
2025.
have like family names? You have family names based on like what your father did or you know. You've got Smith, you've got, you know, these names, yeah? So what
Ameen.
about
You could,
the
I mean,
OnlyFans people, bro?
yeah, okay.
What's their family name?
It was a bad, yeah, but you could, you look, let's think about it, right? Your stories of your great grandparents. You know, I've got stories of my great granddad. He used to take in orphans, bro. He used to, you know, the reason why, like all these amazing stories about them. Okay. But imagine living in a world where I hear that, you know, your great granddad. Imagine I'm like some off, you know, generation down the line. Your great granddad used to, give dawah in the street. Amazing man. Oh, really? YouTube. Well, I found a video of him. Here he is. He used to
Reaction
say that
video.
women shouldn't be reading and writing. What are you talking about? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's no legacy anymore because I can verify the legacy. I can look it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's sad. It's really sad. And now with AI and stuff and Grok, you heard about Grok undressing people? Oh, it's disgusting. It's horrible.
Oh, undressing people. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's just like we live in an awful time, but the internet doesn't forget. So you get carried away in this outrage culture.
That's another way you might get away with stuff in the dunya, yani, is by just saying, "Oh, it was AI. I didn't say that. I didn't do
You
that."
could do, yeah. Yeah, could you imagine? God, we do live in that.
Because
it's
yeah, like no one's gonna like people still like new to this AI video and how good AI video is.
yeah,
But in maybe give it a year or two, people are gonna be like, yeah, who knows if anything's real? Like, I just see stuff and I just believe what I want to believe. I just believe what I want to
yeah.
believe because I don't know if anything's real.
There is a growing unplugged culture, isn't there? I suppose I see a lot of on my YouTube algorithm. Maybe it's just me, but I see a lot of these like Gen Zers like finding it cool to unplug and go back to old tech. You know, they start dividing their, you know, instead of having a phone that has everything, they start. Oh, I get a Walkman. They get Walkman for their music or a digital camera for their photos. Like it's going back to basically the 90s and early 2000s again. And it's like maybe we did peak then. Maybe that was the best it ever was. And now, or is that just the old man Muhammad talking? You know, I'm in my
I mean, we
30s now.
obviously peaked at the time of the Sahaba.
I'm talking
Obviously.
I'm talking about technology wise, like technology's golden age. Maybe it peaked just before.
I don't know, bro. I think technology is just gonna get better and stuff. I guess you're talking about like the
Internet, maybe the
balance
internet.
between the benefits and the
Yeah, I
downsides
think the
of the
internet's
technology.
golden age, maybe the internet specifically.
Internet. I don't know.
And
I think
like,
it's hard to say. I think
is
it's
it?
hard to imagine what's to come. You could, yeah, you could. I would lean towards it being worse in the future than now, but I kind of feel like also you never know as well. Like VR, this or that. You know what was a sick moment? Yeah, which I never got involved in this trend, but the whole Pokemon Go thing, I was
Yeah,
like, that is
10
actually
years ago.
because
Yeah,
it's like real life with the digital like merging, you know.
yeah,
And what if we had something like that with these AR glasses when they get
yeah,
really good?
yeah.
Maybe we'll like merge the tech world with the real world, and maybe people touch grass more. I don't know. So it's
Yeah.
hard to predict. Wallah, it's hard to predict.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's sad because for the most part, most technology hasn't reached everywhere apart from the mobile phone, apart from the internet on the phones, like smartphones. So many generations got so much content. Content. Let me start again. So much technology got skipped, in the global south and a lot of poorer regions in the world as well, apart from the mobile phone, you know. My village didn't
Everyone's
get
always looking at
broadband
smartphones.
and all this sort of stuff, flat screen TVs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it took a while, but everybody had Facebook on their
Yeah.
phone and the internet.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
for some,
Yeah.
the internet is Facebook. Like for some countries,
Yes.
when you say internet, all they think of is Facebook.
Yeah.
They don't know about Google or going anywhere else to look for anything. If it's not on Facebook, it's not on the
Yeah.
internet.
India did that deal with Facebook where Facebook has this project where they basically they provide internet for free in
Right.
India via hot air balloons or satellites or something. but it's just Facebook.
Right.
So you get like Facebook Lite kind of app on your phone, and it's lighting and it doesn't use much data, and you have like unlimited data or whatever of that,
Facebook.
and your internet provider is Facebook, and
Wow.
you're only using Facebook. And I don't know if it exists in other countries, but definitely in India they did that.
Wow.
Yeah. But bro, there's still old school stuff, bro. In Algeria, bro, I had a delivery, and the guy's like, where is your location? I'm like, oh, I sent you the Google Maps thing. He's like, oh, but I'm gonna have to like turn my internet on and go to it, and my maps isn't really working. There's still some old school people out here, bro.
Yeah. I think we should embrace that though. Like we should embrace the cultural variance and stop imposing what we expect on cultures that don't necessarily, you know, they've got their way of doing things, and we should.
Well, that's what you have to. You have to learn that when you live in a new country. Otherwise, you just get pummeled, man. Like I saw a video of a brother who moved to a country and he left. Like he only moved for like a few months. It was like a Hijrah thing, and he moved back. And he was talking about why he left and he couldn't hack it. And he was complaining about things that didn't exist there that did exist in the UK. And it's like, well, it's a whole other country. What do you expect? Like I know, Yanni, some things are just annoying, bro, inconvenient. But in the end, like the ingredients that make up this country, one of those ingredients is the inconvenience. And overall, you like this country enough to go to it. So maybe part of the reason this country is good as you think it is because of those inconveniences. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that, you have to roll with the punches or whatever you want to call it. Like, I think it's hard. It's hard to do. But for some reason, I think I'm handling it okay. Like, bro, I'll go to the Belediya. I'll just get destroyed. I'll just like waste 2 hours of my life and I'll just go home and be like, yeah, I kind of expected that. Let's try again next week.
This is it. Yeah. Tunisia, the same thing. I started going to things with the mentality, something's going to go wrong. And we're just going to do it.
You won't be disappointed that way.
And 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what happened. Everything I'd go to, there was a delay or something changed. I had to go somewhere else. Okay. Today is a day of rolling around, chipping away at the problem. That's all I'm doing.
Exactly.
Chipping away.
Yes. Yeah. But you have this hope that one day this paperwork will go away, or like you'll be done with it, Yanni, partially. I was trying to get passport for my son. Okay. My son has this document which basically shows that he's an Algerian citizen, Yanni. Okay. He's got that. That's the hardest thing the hardest step. We have that for him. So now we just want to get a passport so he can enter the country if he ever needs to leave and all that.
Yep.
What do they ask me for? They ask me for a certificate of citizenship. I'm like, I don't even think, my mind doesn't even go to why does he need that? He's got this paper that shows he's a citizen already.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Why does he need that certificate as well? I don't even go there. I don't question things, bro.
Just do it.
Like just do it. And by the way, you might spend 2 weeks. You might spend 2 weeks doing it, and then you go, and they're like, "Oh no, we don't even need that.
We don't even need
that."
That
could happen as well. Just roll with the punches.
Or you just find some one day you just speak to someone who's like, you know what, you're meant to have this thing, but I'll
exactly. I'll hook you up. Exactly. So I don't know what this is called. Flexibility, mental resilience. I don't know what it's called, but
so if you see the whole thing as khidmah, if you see the whole thing as work, not just the achievement as work, the whole thing. Then you start thinking you're rewarded for it. Inshallah, Rabbi sahal wa kul shay. I have my niyyah safia. I'm trying to do the right thing here, and then I can tell my missus, I've been at it all day. Like I've been working all day. It's like when you're out there,
it's work, bro.
My wife thinks I'm on holiday or whatever. I'm like, no,
emotional work.
All day. Yeah, absolutely.
It's emotional work.
Yeah,
emotional work, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end it there, inshallah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete your tweets.
I enjoyed. Delete your tweets, people. Yes. Okay, jazakumullah khair, and see you next episode.
Assalamu alaikum.